What up, Internet? It's your boy, moderately attractive Frank. I think I'm wearing a little thin on that nickname, too. This is what happens when you make your own nicknames. They're never good. Cool Mike should know that. He doesn't. So, let's talk about Raw! It was actually pretty good. I can't believe I'm saying that. But, not perfect, obviously. Nothing's perfect. I watched one reviewer totally freak the fuck out about it, but he freaks the fuck out about everything. And I appreciate it. I like it. It's entertainment. Before we get on to Raw, let me just give a quick update. Did a video on Mr. Moxley last night. Well, now the motherfucker is 5-0. Whew. I watched that fucking match with him and Shingo. Brutal shit. Another brutal match. I think he's bringing something to Japan that probably hasn't been seen in a long time. I mean, Chris Jericho brought it, but not at the frequency and consistency that Moxley is. He reminds me of an old school Bruiser Brody just beating the shit out of people. Not to that extent, because, Brody was a fucking maniac. But, for all you people, watch the match, or at the very least, watch the fucking highlights, because it was really good. And Shingo is pretty fucking amazing in his own right. Anyway, on to Raw. We open up with a fucking 24/7 match, and it's an intergender tag between Truth, his bitch, Carmella, and Drake Maverick and his wife. They keep calling her Drake Maverick's wife. I don't even know her name. Something Renee something, or something Renee. I don't fucking know. But I'll tell you this. She looks good in a in a wrestling gear. So, there's always that. I don't know if they're really married, but if they are, good job, bud. You little spud. Jesus Christ. What money will get you, huh, guys? Anyway, R-Truth wins. And then it was a gauntlet match, by the way. And everybody jumps in the ring, Everybody wants that catering belt. So all of catering, including Bobby Roode, which is just so sad. It's just a sad situation for him. I mean, he's in the twilight of his career, but still, he is worth so much fucking more than running around for an ugly green belt. It's like a refurbished fucking Saudi Arabian belt. Anyway, yeah. So they all jump in, and there's a pile-on. It's like a fucking rugby game, a rugby match, or football, whatever. And the ref somehow, psychically, knows that R-Truth is pinned with the shoulders on the mat, and he counts it. And he somehow knows that it's Mike Kanellis that wins. The lucky man he is, being married to Maria Kanellis. Woo-hoo. Man, what a fucking harpy she is, huh? God damn. I mean, she's hot and she has a big old fat ass, but man, I know it's all fake, obviously, but if that chick was my old lady, I run a tighter ship than that, boys. Anyway, so I'm just gonna skip because I'm just gonna stick with this little story line. So he runs into his locker room and she's pounding on the door. Let me in! Let me in! You know, in her best harpy fucking voice. He won't do it at first because he doesn't believe that it's his wife. It's either he doesn't know his wife's voice or he's sick and tired of hearing that fucking harpy fucking scream at him. I'm inclined to go with the latter. So he lets her in. He's all happy. Look what I did. Look, I'm a man now. I'm a man. Man. And she tells him to lay down like he always does. So I guess she does all the riding in that relationship. Probably where she gets all her thigh muscles, you know. And she becomes the champion. She puts her fucking stiletto on his chest or stomach and pins the motherfucker. And he, being the little bitch he is, you know, he's not even a little bitch. He's just a little cuck, you know. So, and that's a word that's used a lot, but I think it's valid in this point. So this motherfucker lets her become champion, and she's running around proclaiming that she's the first ever pregnant fucking champion. So I hate to say this, but Maria Kanellis is the best heel on Raw right now. She's annoying. Everyone hates her. And she's doing a good job being a total fucking bitch. So some of the boys in the back could take a few lessons from her. And she starts goading other guys. Right? She goes up to catering VIP Titus and says, "Oh, you want to become the two-time champion? Huh? Well, why don't you pin me? Because who's going to beat up a fucking pregnant woman?" So I don't know if she's actually pregnant, but I feel like they're going with this whole she's not actually pregnant thing. Just a hunch. And that might be the best thing for it, you know, because someone's behind me. I think it's the guy who owns my building. He's an asshole, but whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna roll up my window so he doesn't talk to me. Bam, done. All right back to it. Professionality. I don't even know if that's a word. It's kind of early, tired. Doesn't matter. So, it's somebody else. It's an old man. It's a pro. Oh, and my super. See, that's the problem with doing videos in your car. You get distracted by people watching. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of fucking ugly people to watch. I'm glad I'm not one of them. So, moving on. There's a 4-way match with a bunch of losers in it. Hey, how do you get your opportunity at a title in WWE? You fucking lose. You lose. That's it. That's all you need to do. So we have Rey Mysterio, who lost in like a minute to Bobby Lashley. He's in the gauntlet match. You got Cesaro, who lost twice to Aleister Black. He's in it. You got Sami Zayn, who hasn't won a fucking match. I heard he won a dark match on Smackville, but did anybody watch it? No. So that doesn't really count. So he's a fucking loser. You had Andrade, who lost to Apollo Crews. Good old Apollo. And then you had Ricochet, who also is coming off a loss, if I remember correctly, to AJ Styles. 5 fucking losers. The fuck's the point of that? Now, if wins mattered, then that match would have been completely different. And obviously, continuing with the trend of gimmick matches for the sake of commercials, that's why this was done. But for the most part, it was a good match. Can't say it wasn't. Just the reasoning behind it is, the logic was not there, I think. Why are you gonna give title opportunities to people that don't win, that haven't won, and same thing with I don't know. So it ends up, Cesaro loses to Ray, Sammy loses to Ray in 30 seconds so they could go to commercial, and that was embarrassing. But everything Sami Zayn does is fucking embarrassing. And then Andrade wins, beats Ray, rips off his mask. His Mexican pride! So they're probably going to do like a mask versus hair thing. I mean, obviously, why else would they fucking do that, right? And then Ricochet comes out, wins, and cuts a shitty promo, because that's the only type of promo Ricochet can cut. Have I ever said how much I don't like Ricochet? Sorry, I got distracted again. I'm watching these two trying to carry fucking bundles of installation for a unit they're working on. And they've been working on it for what seems to be months, because they're lazy as fuck. Anyway, so yeah, cuts a shitty promo. He cuts a Ricochet promo, because he's never cut a good one. So for now on, bad promos are just going to be called Ricochet promos. Okay? Ricka promos. So we get a rematch. Yay! Who gives a fuck? Anyway, but the match was good. Yeah. Then we had a three-way tag team match for the World Tag Team Championships, because those belts matter. We had the OC, so we had Orange County versus the Usos, who Jimmy Boy fucking gets a goddamn DUI, and he's in a title match. I guess that fucking, Samoan Prince bloodline really is strong in the WWE. I'm sure it's because Vince doesn't want to potentially piss off The Rock, just at the chance that he might show up one day. And the Revival, probably, the best tag team they have. But hey, Orange County wins. New champions. 2 weeks before SummerSlam. So I guess it's either going to be a rematch on the pre-show of SummerSlam, or there's not going to be the tag team title is defended on the SummerSlam pay-per-view. We'll see. Whatever. It's the same thing always. Look, if WWE doesn't care, I don't care. But the match was awesome. See, there's a trend. There's quite a few good matches, but a lot of the shit was stupid, if you know what I mean. Just didn't make sense. Then, you have the Viking Raiders. Brah! They fucking squashed some bums. Then we got a Moment of Bliss. I think maybe the Moment of Bliss came first. I don't know. I can't remember. Who cares? Bruh. Who cares? But Alexa was looking pretty fine as always. You know that's why she's on TV a lot. It's not a wrestling. So she showed a backstage thing about fucking what's her flip, Becky attacking Natalia. That happened while she was learning how to defend the Disarm Her. Which, honestly, stupid as fucking arm bar or arm breaker or cross arm breaker that they like to call it in wrestling. It's the stupidest type that I think I've ever seen. Honestly. How can you not? Like, why do you need to go to Fit Finlay to learn how to get out of it? Just roll over and you're out of it. Christ. Anyway, Becky attacks, kicks Fit right in the bits, and then attacks Natalia. So, fucking Alexa and Nikki, her little puppet bitch thing, bip off about how wrong it is. Alexa comes on the Titantron. If you could see my eyes, they're being rolled back into my head right now because it was annoying. And she's like, I'm going to get you too, because I remember what you did, Alexa. And then the squash match happened. So, Alexa Bliss wrestled hardly against Becky. Faked an ankle injury. Because the bitch don't wrestle, man. She don't wrestle. I mean, it can't be this concussion thing that they used to talk about, you know? Because she's getting in the ring. She's taking bumps. It's just she's not a good wrestler. So they don't use her in that capacity. And yet she's like a 5 or 6 time champion. Go figure. So she's injured, and then Nikki decides to get into a match with fucking Becky. And they have a match. A decent little slobber knocker. And Becky does some sort of pump handle slam or something to end the match. It looked really bad. For all you Becky fans, she's not a great wrestler. Just so you know. She's not that great. It's her attitude. But then after that, they jump her. They beat the shit out of her. And then Natalia comes out and puts the bitch in the sharpshooter. And Natalia looked great. Natalia always looks great. I'd have her babies. Anyway. And I mean, in her case, I'd have her kitties. You know? And I don't know what happened after that. Oh! Brock Lesnar beat the living shit out of Seth Rollins, and I couldn't be happier. It started off as a match with Ziggles pretending to be Shawn Michaels and insulting him and Goldberg. I guess the rumor is he's going to wrestle Goldberg now at SummerSlam. Like, who gives a fuck, man? Seriously, they have 1 week, one Raw left before SummerSlam. One Raw. So, build it or don't. You hear that? Can you hear people talking? Because they're ignorant. No, they're not ignorant. That's not the right word. That doesn't mean that. They're rude. Standing outside my car talking when they can clearly see me talking into my cell phone. Maybe I'm on a phone call. Maybe I'm on an important fucking video conference. You know? But they don't care. Because they're disrespectful pieces of shit. Moving on. So yeah, they go into a match, but it doesn't last long because Brock comes out in all his manly glory and lays waste to Seth. He beat the shit out of that boy, and I was cheering. I was hopping up and down like a little child because as far as I'm concerned, I've said this, fucking I don't like Seth Rollins anymore. His attitude in the real world has totally turned me off, man. Turned me off that fucking train. Fuck off, Seth. So they're playing the part that Seth might not be ready for SummerSlam, but I'm sure he'll be there, and I'm sure he'll win. It'd be funny if Seth can't go, but he asks Roman to take his place. I think that would be funny. But yeah, he beats the shit out of him, and it was pretty good. And the next, because apparently the champion and the challenger are not main event material, Roman Reigns gets in a scuffle with Samoa Joe. Orange County, and I don't know why. I guess maybe because they don't like the Usos. Drew McIntyre, and then Cedric Alexander was involved. So the show ended with Roman Reigns spearing fucking Samoa Joe. Big fucking deal. They called it the Samoan Summit because they were going to negotiate for peace. Whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean. It's goddamn wrestling. But Joe put the kibosh on that. Good old kibosh Joe. But I'm tired of watching Roman get the upper hand in everything. Even when he loses, man, he gets the fucking upper hand on shit. It's goddamn annoying. But look, other than, some logical fallacies, the show was good. It was action-packed. Had quite a few good matches. And really, it's a wrestling show. And people have been bitching for a while that wrestling shows should have good wrestling, So, can't really bitch that much. Does it make sense? No. But, neither does The Young and the Restless. How did Nicholas turn into a man from a child in the span of a month? Made no sense. One day he was a child, the next day he was a fucking grown-ass man. Made no sense. This is just like that. This is a soap opera. So, I'm not that bent out of shape that it makes no sense. I'm just happy we got a good 3 hours of actual wrestling. So if this is Paul Heyman at work, good job, Paul. Good job. Anyway, if you made it this far, that must mean you're interested in what I have to say. So, hey, like the fucking video, okay? Just do it. Just do it. My nephew told me to get right to the point. Like, sub, ring the bell, share the video. That's what he said to do. He's 17, so I'm listening to him. But do all those things. Just do it. You know you want to. And, like I said, watch that fucking Moxley versus Shingo match. You won't be disappointed. I promise. That's a handsome Frank. I'm back to handsome Frank. That's a handsome Frank guarantee. You can take that to the bank. Alright, well, I'm done, man. Gotta upload this shit, and I got other shit to do. I'm a very busy, important person, you see. Alright, motherfuckers. Thanks for watching. Have a great Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Have a great Tuesday. Enjoy SmackDown, if anybody even watches it. Enjoy it. I'll talk to you later. And I'm out.